Don't let him get slack.
Keep it clear of the railing.
Heave! Now! Watch the tail!
Almost there. Steady on the winch.
Hold the line, we're losing it! The cables won't take much more.
Hang on, another wave is coming over the bow.
Pull, pull, keep the line tight. Watch out, another wave! You've almost got it, keep going.
Dios mío, mira eso. Es enorme. Nunca he visto algo así.
Okay, pull, harder. We got him. Nice one, Cap.
Pull him up now.
It's huge. Keep going. Don't let him get away.
Incredible, did you see that jump? Oh, I'm getting the harpoon.
Hold the line, he's going deep. We're pulling as hard as we can. Don't let go.
We got him. Pull him in.
Yes, 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 finally.
That is a monster. Keep the tension. Don't let it twist. Hold your line. Keep it steady. Gaps ready on the deck. Lower him down now.
Hold the line, hold it. The winch is gonna blow. We're losing him, pull harder.
The wind howled in the cold grey mist. The giant iron ship silently cut through the waves and entered the North Atlantic. The fishermen in orange and yellow raincoats stood on the deck, their faces rough and their eyes determined. They did not only go to sea to make a living, but also to face the ruler of the sea, the giant Swordfish. The sea surface roared. The steel cables vibrated like giant strings in the storm. The calloused hands pulled, squeezed, and fought against the violent power of the ocean. The giant swordfish rushed up like a steel arrow, its body reflecting lightning, its tail whipping up white foam. The roar of the sea mixed with the screeching of the cables. The screams of humans mixed with the anger of nature. In the midst of the hazy rain and wind, the four fishermen in orange, red, and yellow shirt struggled like ancient warriors, every muscle trembling in the effort to fight for survival. When the giant swordfish was pulled close to the side of the ship, the steel on its body flashed like a sword of the ocean, carrying the fierce breath of the ocean. They did not kill out of hatred. They fought for survival, for human pride before the endless nature. When the storm passed, the red deck of the ship was stained in the dawn light. The exhausted fishermen stood still, watching the motionless sea monster. They washed away the blood, washed away the tears, leaving only the gentle sound of waves and the sunlight shining on the sparkling steel. The journey back to port was a journey of victory and survival. The giant swordfish now lay still in the cold hold. And on the deck, the salty men of the sea sat together, their gazes distant, silent.
Secure that line. It's secure, Cap.
Facing the sea. When the ship docked, the people cheered. But in their hearts, only the echo of the ocean remained, where people and the sea had written legends together. The sun slowly rose above the horizon, a pale yellow light spreading across the vast water. The giant iron ship trudged into the harbor, its hull marked with salt, lightning, and dried blood from the battle with the giant swordfish. On deck, 4 fishermen in faded raincoats were silent, their eyes tired but glowing with pride. They said nothing, for the sea had heard everything. A gentle wind blew, carrying the fishy smell of fish and the salty scent of the sea, mixed with the warmth of the waiting land. When the ship reached the shore, the crowd rushed out, cheers echoing throughout the harbor. Men, women, and children gathered around.
Pull! Don't let go of that line.
I've got it! Keep going! Hold fast! Pull on 3! 1, 2, 3, heave! Heave! Pull! All together now, come on!
Amazed at the giant body of the swordfish lying on the steel deck, a symbol of the strength, courage, and madness of man who dared to challenge the ocean, the fishermen stepped off, their shirts soaked, their hands chapped, but their smiles bright. They had survived. They had won. They had brought back the legend. Sunlight filtered through the steam rising from the hull, reflecting on tanned faces. In the distance, church bells rang in the morning mist, mingling with the gentle sound of waves lapping against the ship's hull. The sea was calm, but in the hearts of those men, the ocean was still rolling. Tonight, they would dream of the storm again, of the giant swordfish leaping from the darkness, of themselves pulling the rope amid thunder and lightning. For them, every trip was not just a journey to make a living.
Come on, heave! Watch the line, she's pulling hard. We almost got it, keep going.
But a test of life and death, between a small human and the endless power of the ocean. And when tomorrow's dawn came, they would set sail again, in the dull sound of the engine and the dim light of the morning mist. Continuing the journey that the sea had planned for them, the journey of the giant swordfish hunters. The sea opened up before them again, endless, cold, and full of life. The storm had passed, but the roar of the waves and the clang of steel against the hull still echoed in the fishermen's hearts. That night, as the ship anchored in the harbor, the yellow light cast a mottled light on the water, reflecting the giant body of the swordfish being pulled up to the dock. The smell of salt, iron, and blood mingled together to create a flavor only those who go to sea understand. Rough hands touched the silver scales where the ocean had once been a terrifying force. Now it lay still, like a fallen warrior after the last battle. Villagers gathered, eyes wide with amazement. There was chatter, the clicking of cameras, the cheering of children. But amid all the noise, the fishermen remained silent. They knew this victory was not only a victory but also a reminder that the sea is always stronger than man. A man looked up at the sky, where the clouds were breaking up after the storm. He smiled wearily, his eyes shining with pride and humility. "We are just those who borrow the breath of the sea to live," he whispered. As the sun set behind the distant mountains, the giant swordfish was taken to the cold storage. On the deck, only a few red streaks and wet shoe prints remained. The fishermen sat together, sipping hot coffee, silently watching the lights shimmer on the water. The sound
Pull the net higher on the left side.
of the ship's engine faded, leaving only the gentle sound of waves lapping against the steel hull. A day ended. A legend was born. And tomorrow morning, when the mist covered the sea, they would set sail again, for that was the destiny of the children of the ocean. Those who were not afraid of storms, not afraid of the deep, only knew how to move forward to search for the wonders in the heart of the sea. The next morning, when the sky was still covered with mist, the iron ship shook again with the familiar dull sound of the engine. The fishermen had woken up, their faces still marked by fatigue, but their eyes were bright. The smell of coffee mixed with the smell of sea salt. The clanging of metal echoed on the deck. They cleaned the ropes, re-oiled the winches, checked every joint of the steel net. No one spoke of fear. No one mentioned the
Jalen, más fuerte.
Resistan, viene. Hold it steady! I am, it's slipping! Agárrense fuerte! ¡No lo suelten! Cuidado con la ola!
Storm last night, only the silence of those who had looked death in the face and walked through it. Outside, the sea was as calm as a sheet of paper, the weak sunlight shining on the rippling silver waves. In the distance, the body of a giant swordfish was hung high, its silver body reflecting the light like a giant mirror of the ocean. It was no longer a threat, but had become a symbol, a testament to human resilience in the face of endless nature. At the port, more and more people came to watch. They told the story of 4 fishermen who had faced a sea monster in a storm, of the screeching of steel wires, the lightning flashing on the Swordfish, and the silence that followed the victory. In the small beachside restaurant, laughter had returned. The sound of the guitar resounded amid the smell of grilled fish and cigarette smoke. In a secluded corner, 4 men sat quietly, their eyes turned to the distant sea. They knew that today's victory was only the beginning of the next battle, because the sea never stopped, and another giant swordfish was still lurking under the deep blue water. The ship's chimneys emitted black smoke, and the propellers stirred the water again. The giant iron ship slowly left the dock, carrying 4 figures in orange and yellow raincoats, standing silently in the early morning wind. They did not leave for fame, but for the call of the sea, a call that had been ingrained in their flesh and blood, urging them to return to the place where storms and legends were born. And then, when the ship gradually disappeared into the mist, only the deep sound of the ship's whistle remained, mixed with the sound of the waves, like a farewell song for those who constantly conquered the sea. Those who forever belong to the ocean. The afternoon fell. The last rays of sunlight of the day spread across the sea like a golden silk strip. The giant iron ship had gone far away from the shore, leaving only the endless silver waves behind. The gentle wind blew, carrying the familiar smell of salt and rust, mixed with the steady, deep sound of the ship's engine, echoing like the heartbeat of the ocean. 4 fishermen stood on the deck, still in their faded raincoats, their eyes looking out to sea, where the clouds were changing color in the sunset. They didn't need to say anything, each understood that their lives were tied to the sea. Below deck, nets and fishing lines were neatly arranged. Each wound of metal and flesh was bandaged. Although their hands were full of cuts and burns, they were still strong and sturdy. Each wound
chains broke! Get back! Get back! Watch out, it's gonna snap.
wound was a story. Each drop of blood was a part of the memory of the sea. In the distance, the water suddenly turned purple as the sunset approached. A small fish jumped out of the water, leaving a sparkling trail before disappearing into the waves. A strange moment of peace. After the stormy days, the seagulls' cries echoed, slowly, lingering like the song of the sea. On deck, A man lit a cigarette, the smoke swirling with the wind, fading into the air. The ship still moved silently forward, into the darkening sky, where the first stars began to appear. In the hearts of every fisherman, the image of the giant swordfish was still clear, the silvery light on its body, the strong thrashing that broke the surface of the water, and the feeling of the fishing line tightening until their hands were numb. They knew their...
He's huge.
Keep the tension. Keep the tension.
I'm trying. My hands are slipping.
Heave now. Dig in, boys. One more pull.
would be other trips, new battles, and maybe other sea monsters waiting. But that was the reason they lived. Because as long as they could still hear the sound of the waves, and see the sunrise over the water, they were still a part of the ocean. Night gradually fell. The lights on the ship turned on, reflecting sparklingly on the waves. The ship continued to move into the dark space, like a lost star in the heart of the sea. And on deck, the figures still stood there, steadfast, silent, courageous, European fishermen, warriors of the ocean, continuing the endless story of hunting giant swordfish in the endless North Sea. That night, the sky was filled with stars. The sea surface was as smooth as a mirror. The lights from the deck reflected and sparkled, creating an endless path of light on the waves.
Eve on that line. Watch the tail, watch the tail. Almost secure.
The steady sound of the engine, mixed with the gentle wind, was like a lullaby of the ocean after stormy days. 4 fishermen sat leaning against the side of the ship, their breaths dissipating into the cold air. They were silent, only listening to the sound of the sea, the soft rumble of steel under their feet, the sound of life, of work, of an indescribable pride. One held a cup of cold coffee, looking into the vast blackness ahead, where small waves crashed into each other. In the dim light, their faces were clearly marked by sunburn, dried salt, and wrinkles of time, but their eyes were bright, like a small flame that never went out. Behind, the body of the giant swordfish lay still, covered in cold nets. Under the moonlight, its silver scales glittered like thousands of pieces of mirror reflecting the entire starry sky. It was no longer a monster, but a part of the sea, a witness to human courage. In the distance, a whale surfaced, breathing heavily, spraying water like the ocean's